You're probably like me whenever you turn on the news. It's so bad, and you don't know how to react to all the horror that's happening in the world and the sadness and the grief that occurs. So you say, I'm just not going to watch the news anymore. And yet you can't help it because you're a part of mankind and the collective consciousness and just the need to know what's going on in the world. And yet it's all so dark and sad. We think about all the floods in Texas and the 27 girls that lost their lives and the camp director and all the others that have died in that flood. And then we hear about the horrors of Hamas and 50,000 innocent people being killed in Hamas or in the Gaza Strip and all that Israel has suffered. And it goes on and on and on every time we turn on the TV and listen to the radio, and it's just sadness gets to be overwhelming and it gets to be too hard. And so the many of us harden our hearts against God, and why could He allow all of this suffering? And that's very real. Those feelings, that emotions, those thoughts are very real. And what I've come to discover is that when I fall into that deep sadness, that God actually meets me there. Therefore, I've painted as an artist. The crucifixion is the main subject that appears that I've painted over the last 50 years. And there's one particular painting that I did, and it's called The Weeping of the Father. And Jesus is being crucified next to the good thief and the bad thief. And gone is the cross, the wooden cross. And it makes for more of an intimate truth, where even upon the cross, Jesus is embracing both the good and the bad thief, just as He did on the cross when He showed compassion to both men and even those who nailed Him to the cross. So in this painting, The Weeping of the Father, you have the rain and the storm that occurred, but they are actually the tears of the Father, the rain is. And somehow, when I realize how God has suffered, God the Father has suffered, and that all the sadness that surrounded God in witnessing His Son suffer horribly, I see that God truly empathizes with our suffering and our pain. And then it's not that the suffering and the pain goes away. It's that there's a deeper understanding of what compassion is. love of God in spite of all the suffering that we witness. Amen.